Welcome, everyone. So I'm thrilled to welcome you to the 2022nd edition of our Apac Xoogler Demo Day. Today we have 8 startups who will be presenting to you. But before we are doing this, I would like to share a little bit about us, the Xoogler community. I would need to have the slides up. Can I have my slides? Yeah, perfect. Thank you. All right. So we are the Xoogler community. So today, 8 startups presenting. In terms of who we are as an organization, as a Xoogler. So for those who don't know about what Xoogler means, so Xoogler means ex-Google employees, because at Google we like to have fancy names. So our Google employees are called Googlers. The newly hired Googlers are Nooglers. So the ex-Google employees are Xooglers. So our community brings together ex-Google employees who share a common interest in the tech startup ecosystem. And so we organize a number of different events and networking across the organization. The community, Xoogler.co, was founded 7 years ago by our own Chris Fund. It was created, funded in the US, and now we have a number of different communities over the world, all around the world. I would like to, to welcome on the stage Chris in order to speak about the community itself. Over to you, Chris.
Thank you. Hi, everyone, and thank you, Anne, first of all, for running the Xoogler community in APAC, and out of Singapore and now online for the past 5 years. We wouldn't be here having the demo day for APAC online without your efforts over the years, both in the Singapore Google office and also clearly online now. So to give you a bit of background, I worked at Google in the US and really saw the opportunity for Xooglers and Googlers to help each other with their startup opportunities. It's very hard for someone to, one, get into Google, but even to leave Google is even harder. And what we've been able to do with the community's assistance is bring together 12,000 members who registered from all around the world to come together and attend many events. This is just one of 300 events we run every year. What we've been able to do as well is have a investment syndicate of 2,500 investors. Some of you are part of it. If not, go check out our investment syndicate page. But even today, we have over 400 investors who are joining to potentially join an investment syndicate to invest in some of these startups. And finally, for those who didn't necessarily want to invest via investment syndicate, we started a fund. And one of the marquee Xoogglers, or even he never actually worked at Google, my apologies. He actually is a Alphabet board member, but he was one of the early investors in Google, and he's an LP of Xoogler Ventures that we've been around since 2020. So the next slide, please. So why are we really here? We're here for you to meet the next Pinduoduo, the next Twitter, the next Pinterest, the next FalconX or OpenSea. You can see some of the amazing companies, both public, but also very nicely valued private startups that have at least one ex-Google founder. And the startups that you'll meet today will also have that. So hopefully we're going to meet the next Pinterest or next FalconX shortly. So this is one of the many demo days we've organized all around the world. So bottom left, Anshu and Amit are here, and they're Xoogler organizers and leads for India. We actually organized the first demo day over there a few years ago, and this is actually in the Google Gurgaon office, the Bangalore office. And you'll be able to see the picture we have of the participants, but also the organizers and investors over there. And prior slide, please. On the bottom right, we actually did it in Paris as well. And the top one, this is our last Xoogler Demo Day in San Francisco in person in 2018. Why I had it circled over there? These are the co-founders of Solana. For those who have looked at the crypto investments, this is in 2018. You could have invested in them and your returns probably over 4,000x by now. So hopefully you'll meet the next Solana in the next few minutes. Next slide, please. The first demo day was at Google's West Campus in Mountain View. We decided to launch the investment syndicate as we met people like Mark Cummins, who sold his first company to Google and started a second company and wanted to present in a demo day like this. After a couple of investment rounds, he sold his company to Google, and we've been able to help him along the way. Next slide. We're here to help even more startup founders, from having Kushagra, who started the investment syndicate that's invested in 40 companies, to Sandeep Jain, who started WorkRise, now valued at $3 billion, helping to start their ventures. And now we've made 40 investments both in Google Ventures, Xoogler Ventures, as well as the syndicate. We're here to introduce you to more startup founders founded by Xooglers that you could invest in. Next slide, please. And how do we do this? We do this because of the events. As I mentioned, Anne's been leading the community in APAC for the past 5 years, organizing countless events with the volunteer leads she leads over in Singapore, but also in Southeast Asia. And what she's been able to do is also lead other leads in the Asia Pacific region. Some photographs here, though, are from the US. The bottom left, Stephen Sear, who's the founder of Harmony, a very successful startup, organized many events around blockchain and even before that, audio ML, and was able to start his company around the community through that. In the middle, OpenSea was actually funded through us as well back in 2018, and we helped them by meeting a lot of Xooglers back in 2018 in San Francisco and New York. So that's how we support founders. And on the right-hand side, the monthly newsletter, we send it to over 12,000 members. You can also check it out. Look for Xoogler in Substack, and able to see what other events we have as well. Next slide, please. Now, the reason why we're here and why we want to share very briefly what our future plans are, we want to get you more involved for you to help us find the next Xoogler founders that we can support to bring it to the next level. So the next slide. And what we've seen over the past few months is development of Web3 and even the Xoogler community itself. We need to adapt and we need to evolve to bring more people to be more involved in the community. The next slide. Thank you. So how do we do this? We want to reward the community. And again, we're very early in this, but give us feedback. We've published white papers around this. We're looking at launching a token, the foundation based in Singapore, to reward the community members who actually want to contribute and help startup founders. In the middle, people who want to start Web3 projects, we want to have the ability to encourage more people and more innovation through that as well. And on the right-hand side, there are many Xooglers out there who wants to get more involved in this decentralized way. As Anne was saying, we've been running Xoogler for many years now in a decentralized fashion, but not necessarily a formalized fashion, the way a Web3 DAO could do. And we're exploring different things with different lawyers. So if you want to learn more, just reach out. But we even have former Google SVPs like Sridhar Ramaswamy volunteering his efforts and assistance to help the Xoogler token take off. Next slide, please. And this is my last slide, really, before I turn it over to thanking a few people. Where are we going? We are now exploring and executing on a token that is still at the early stages. As all of you know, on the legal front, we want to make sure we're following certain regulatory frameworks. We're getting feedback from everyone, and we'll make sure to get as many people involved as possible. We want to 10x this whole community. There's not only 12,000 people we can help more Xooglers, Googlers, but also other communities do what we do over here. And we can actually bring you more involved to actually potentially find more Xoogler founders to support, invest in, run events and programs. And please reach out to us if you want on at xoogler.co if you want to assist. And my final slide, please, before I move on over. Thank you, Anne, in APAC, around Singapore and Southeast Asia as well, Joe in Australia, Amit, Danching in China, Anshu and Kazuki in Japan for helping bring the Xoogler community in APAC forward. Thank you so much and welcome today, and hope you invest in many of these startups you see. Thank you, Anne.
Thank you very much, Chris. So just to speak very quickly about the APAC community, so our focus really is on three things. The first one is to build a meaningful community to create more connections for the community, but also beyond. We have, as Chris mentioned, different groups across the region, so Southeast Asia, Japan, Australia, India, and even several in India, and each of them organize local networking events. We also have super mentors who provide support to our startups. So in the context of Demo Days, for instance, where we help the startups prepare, but also on a day-to-day for the startups. And finally, we have a number of also more social initiatives that are organized at the local level. And of course, we have seen even more of those flourish with the in the COVID era in which we are at the moment. Anyway, so enough to speak about the Xoogler community. Let's speak about the Demo Day. Just to let you know, so we are a group of volunteers, and like all the other events that we have organized in the past, nothing would have happened, and none of this would be here without the support of all our volunteers. So I would like to thank everybody, and more specifically my partners in crime here, Joel, Kazuki, Xiao, Kushandra, Anshu, and I'm probably probably missing some, but thank you very much. You have helped me put this all together and also mentor all the startups. And I would like to give a special thanks also to Sarah, who has been doing all the heavy lifting for us on the logistics side. So thank you so much to all of you. Okay, this year we are partnering with Stonks. And so I hope you will be as amazed as I am with this new startup. It's really a rising star, a rising star, which will be bringing the Demo Day experience to the next level, as I'm sure you will see today. So let me explain to you a little bit how that works. So as you can probably see now on your screen, we have created a fake startup that is called Goober. And so in that fake startup, you are free to click the buttons and practice the various actions I'm going to demonstrate to you now. Of course, all the other startups that we'll be presenting after that are real startups. So Goober is the only fake one here today. So there are a few actions that you can do. The first three actions are at the right of the investment button. And so if you pop out the menu, you will be able to see three different options. I want to work here, I want to be a customer, or I want to park. In that case, this will be triggering an automatic email introduction between you and the founders, so that will get done automatically. Feel free to give it a try on Goober just to see how it works. And then the other two options that will also trigger some automatic introduction, and which are probably what you're the most interested in here today. It's everything around investing. So if you are thinking of investing, but you would like to speak to the founder, go ahead and click request an introduction. Again, you will be put in touch directly with the founder. This allows you to select your check size, and also you can let the founder know about your value add to their potential startup. So that's the first, and then you can also decide to go and invest directly. So typically the companies that are pitching on Demo Days are in very competitive rounds. So if you are concerned by getting in and getting your check accepted into the round, you can click invest and let that founder know that you are ready to move. And this will create an automatic email introduction, and the founder will be able to let you know how to wire the funds. So here we are. I think you know it all now. So let me introduce the amazing panel of investors that we have today for the Q&A. So we have Carissa here from Jungle, Michael from Cocoon Capital, Anshu from Sequoia, and Koi from Monks Hill. Thank you very much to the four of you for accepting our invitation. We're honored to have you here. I'm going to see you very shortly, but in the meantime, I'm going to call on stage the first startup. So here we are. It's time to get started. So the first startup to come on stage is Comfeto, a much-needed virtual social media assistant. Over to you, Vasant and Sylvia.
Hello, everyone. This is Vasant, and welcome to Confeto. Confeto is an AI-powered social media tool for SMBs. By automating design, planning, and copywriting, we plan to save a ton of time and money for SMBs, and we're going to see how.
Hi, I'm Sylvia here. I own a fashion brand myself, and I use Confeto to manage my social media. Now, every week, Confeto will tell my brand what to post according to my brand industry, trends, and all of these are already made according to my brand guidelines. So I can simply download and post to my account. And what happened is I can also create something of my own with Confeto's generate designs. You can simply choose the format that you want and attach the image that I want to include and click generate designs. So now the AI is going to generate content that is already within my brand colors, fonts, and images. So there is no need for me to design at all. I just simply need to choose the designs that I like the best. So say that I want to work with this one. I can just simply edit the text. If I'm happy with it, I can schedule to my Instagram account, and this will be auto-posted automatically. So, and if I need any help on caption writing, which is a common problem these days, I can simply write the product description. So it is a silk maxi dress I am trying to sell. And now the AI is gonna tell me what to post. Like we can talk about where you can wear this dress to or where the silk comes from. If I'm happy with these captions, I can use. And now it is gonna be ready to be auto-posted. And lastly, if I have some goals in mind, so say that I have a new arrival coming soon, Converto can plan for me what to post every single day to maximize that campaign.
So since launching late last year, we've acquired close to 1,000 brands. We're growing 20% week on week. We plan to launch our mobile apps next with a focus on Indonesia. And we've raised a small angel round so far, and we're raising up to $1 million in this round. Thank you, and welcome any questions.
Hey guys, Carissa from Jungle here. Not sure if you can hear me.
Yeah,
Yes,
I can
Carissa.
hear you.
Okay, got it. So my question is, in terms of the AI itself, is it built in-house or are you integrated with a third-party AI provider?
No, it's proprietary AI for both the design and text generation.
Understand. And how accurate is the text generation for your current user base?
Yeah, so I mean, we measure accuracy in terms of the relevancy to the topic that the user is typing. And in our internal tests, we've seen between 80 to 85% of the captions needed by our system are relevant to what we are asking.
Thank you.
Hi there, Michael here from Cocoon. A question for you is, can you talk a little bit about the competition in this space? Who you see are your main competitors? And I guess also the other question that jumps to my mind is, how are you going to what's your go-to-market plan?
Yeah, okay. Well, a good question. So competition-wise, we see tools like Buffer, Later, and Planoly, which are helping people with social media planning, especially in the SMB side, right? Like there are Hootsuite and Falcon.io in the upmarket and enterprise side, but we are more focused on the SMBs. But these tools currently only provide you with scheduling, right? They automatically publish something you upload to their system into Instagram and Facebook. They don't give you any support in terms of strategy or planning or even content or design generation or copywriting. So Confeto is actually almost like a Canva plus Buffer and Later, but an automated version of that. So we are an all-in-one end-to-end social media tool that is, like driven by data and AI. And in terms of our go-to-market strategy, so far we've been acquiring users mainly from our Instagram content marketing. Actually, we eat our own dog food. We use Confeto to manage our own Confeto Instagram account. And we've grown to about 2,000 followers just by posting very relevant content, engaging content for our users. So Instagram is going to be a very key acquisition point for us. We also plan to basically kickstart our SEO and SEM campaigns because we are product-led growth. And third ways that we want to also grow is to integrate with Shopify. And one of the co-founders of Bukukas is also an angel investor. So we have a strategic partnership in order to integrate with them. Bukukas is the Shopify of Indonesia, just for people who don't know that. So we want to integrate with them and drive content generation from these e-commerce platforms into Instagram itself. So that will be our go-to-market plan in short answer.
Thank you.
Hi, this is Corey from Monster Ventures. Can you talk a bit more about what exactly does the AI do for you? It sounds like it's primarily for auto generation of text and stuff like that. Does it do more than that, or do you have plans to do more than that? For example, audience targeting and et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, where we started with was the biggest pain points for the SMBs, where design and copywriting was the biggest issue. So these are the kind of people who are not advanced enough to, manage their performance marketing funnels by optimizing ad planning and all that, right? Having said that, so currently our AI can basically design like a designer, where we can understand that this text contrast is bad, this image goes well with this background. So we've trained a model based on that. Actually, it's an ensemble of different models. For text generation as well, we've created a caption generator based on our internal proprietary algorithms. Now, our next goal is obviously to make this all data-driven, right? So basically take the performance of the post, performance of the content online, and try to optimize and give more better recommendations. That's our immediate next goal. But in terms of long-term planning, we've also had a few of our SMBs ask us about ad planning. because even though Instagram ad planning tool is there for SMBs, a lot of them find it too complicated and they waste a lot of dollars. So there are these little things that we think we can start off with and grow with the SMBs as we go along in their growth journey. And that will also allow us to upsell more and more services to them.
And maybe a follow-up question: how do you charge right now, or plan to charge?
Yeah. So currently we have a simple subscription model with a 30-day free trial. We are in the middle of actually updating our to a freemium model, which is going to have a free to use forever plan and a basic, pro, and growth. So basic starts at $10, $20, and $50. So it's pretty much focused on SMB market. So it's very competitively priced against, let's say, if you're using Canva and Buffer, you don't need to use them both now. You can use Confetto together instead.
All right, one last question, and then we'll move on.
I can go. Could you also tell us how many posts are you seeing per day or on an average a month?
Yeah, so I mean, it's still early days, but we're getting about 50 to 100 designs a day around there. Our active users are very active, right? They generate even more than 1 or 2 posts a day. So it's quite high. We see amongst our active and paid customers, the week-on-week engagement is around 33 to 40%. So they come back and regenerate posts and all that. So we do see that the usage goes up as soon as they get started. The first week is crucial for us in terms of if they generate more posts in the first week, it's more likely that they'll come back and do more.
All right. Thank you very much, Confetto, for this great first presentation. Never easy to be the first one. All right, let's move on. We'll see our panelists after the second startup. Coming next is Sherry, co-founder of Blue Jay Finance. She is building the first ever Asia-focused capital-efficient protocol for multi-currency stablecoins. Welcome, Sherry. Over to you now.
Awesome. Hi, everyone. I'm Sherry. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Blue Jay Finance, along with Raymond Ye here, who is my CTO. And what we're building today is a stablecoin protocol that is going to be specifically focused on Asia currencies. Now, the reason why we're focusing on this is that we're seeing a secular trend where the next 100 million users coming into crypto are actually going to look a little bit different than the first 100 million. They're a bit more mainstream, and some of the use cases are going to be different than just trading off of some of the volatility of the assets. Also, regionally, we're seeing a lot of growth in places, especially like Asia, where just in the last year, we've seen 700% year-over-year growth in activity. So what we believe as a thesis is that these FX stablecoins will be a building block for these new users and ecosystems and serve as a complement to the existing supply of USD stablecoins like USDC, Tether, etc. The role that we see local stablecoins serving specifically is eliminating the amount of FX risk you have to have when you're transacting in crypto outside of your I guess using USD outside of your home currency. And as well as more overlap with the local economy itself. Increasingly also diversification beyond just relying on specifically USD-based stablecoins. So that is why our solution today is a multi-currency stablecoin protocol focused on Asian markets. There's 3 characteristics to keep in mind for our design. One is protocol on liquidity. Second is algorithmic price stabilization. And 3 is multi-stablecoin portfolio management. Our end user, even though we want to serve, all the users who want to, engage and get into crypto across the region, is really on distribution partners that will help kind of distribute our stablecoins for their different end use cases, which will include centralized exchanges to even GameFi players that are increasingly growing in Asia. Now, in terms of who the team is behind Blue Jay, that includes myself and Raymond, who are part of the co-founding team. What we cover is a broad range of experience across FinTech as well as crypto, with Raymond's background as a blockchain engineer. Our early supporters also include GFC, Global Founders Capital, and Entrepreneur First that participated in pre-seed fundraising. We're really excited to begin our journey building this next monetary infrastructure for the future. And we'll start out with Singapore dollar and PHP as our stablecoin launch markets. But then later on, we'll roll out to more currencies, additional chains beyond Ethereum, as well as more use cases and distribution. We're going to be raising a 3 million seed for this round, and we invite you today to join in our journey to make DeFi accessible for everyone. Thank you. Hello.
Hi, I can go first. Sherry, very good to meet you. Do you have any sort of hypothesis on which use cases will see the most traction first?
Yes. So it depends on the market that we're looking at. And so I think in Asia, we'll kind of segment it perhaps like the G20 and more developed markets like Singapore and Japan. And then the more, I guess, maybe retail crypto-driven markets like Philippines. So maybe I can actually just share some stories from users that will help explain this better. In a market like Singapore, there's actually more and more people that are looking to diversify their type of crypto investments into stablecoins. But right now, the product suite being offered is mostly USD savings for yields. So the use case that we're looking for is actually building liquidity on DeFi for people to actually earn yield on holding Singapore dollar stablecoins in a way that eliminates FX risk as well as impermanent loss in terms of the asset changing value. And also you'll get better returns just simply because the liquidity is going to be a little bit smaller than USD stablecoins. On the Philippines, Vietnam, and more, these type of markets, we're actually looking at a go-to-market focused a lot on the crypto ecosystem within GameFi. So there's actually a lot of really interesting financial services that are actually being built on top of these right now. And so some of the pain points and challenges that, let's say, an Axie scholar has in the Philippines is finding a way to be able to cash out their earnings from crypto into something that's more real world, like getting a haircut at your barber's, right? There's also this challenge in terms of getting the right microfinancing to be able to buy an NFT initially to be able to play these games. But it's quite hard to design these financial services if you don't have a stable currency as that backbone. So we're in active conversations, with partners on both ends of the markets in Philippines and Singapore to enable these use cases once we have the stablecoins out in the market.
Can I ask a quick question? Exactly where you are in regards to the product? Yes.
So we are in a pre-launch stage right now, but we're actually quickly going to be rolling out our testnet or on Rinkaby actually in just about a month in March. And then we'll launch on mainnet on Ethereum in May. So that will be in 3 months approximately.
And in terms of monetization, maybe if you could just talk us through that, that would be fantastic.
Yes, absolutely. So this goes back to the part of our design, which includes something called protocol owned liquidity. So what that means in simple terms is that all the stablecoin pairs, let's say SGD and DAI, PHP and DAI, is going to be mostly owned by us, meaning that we're actually going to accumulate revenue in the form of trading fees coming back to us. It's actually simply just like how exchanges make money, how actual transactions get accumulated in like Web2 FinTech as well.
Interesting. Thank you.
Do you have any partners signed up yet?
Yeah, so we actually do have some letters of intent with some early partners. And so we're in exploratory phases with what these pilots could look like once we actually launch our product.
Okay.
I know you briefly mentioned it earlier, but can you just give me a little bit more of your background?
Yeah. So I was on the Google Pay team for 3 years out here in Singapore. So I was part of that journey where we were Tez at first in 2017, and then became Google Pay eventually. So that's my background, more on the, I guess, FinTech side. And then Raymond comes from GovTech in Singapore, basically the tech arm of the Singapore government. And he was a blockchain engineer that led a lot of the ledger-based projects, putting things like certifications on the blockchain.
Okay, thank you.
All right, we have time for a very, very short question. Otherwise, we'll move on. No? All right, thank you very much, Sherry and Raymond. All right, so next startup up. So we have Mohammed, who is joining now. He's presenting Design Pro, which offers a modern approach to design as a service. Mohammed, over to you.
Thanks, Anne. So hi, everyone. My name is Mo, and I'm the founder of Design Pro. We're creating a new way to do freelance that helps businesses define outcomes and automate workflows to deliver higher quality results. So we discovered that designers actually hate the Fiverr model. These designers are now going off on their own, but there's still a lot of back and forth that happens with clients, and the apps they use are very fragmented. So this ends up wasting a lot of budget. There's no clear path towards a high quality result. And so our solution starts by helping these businesses define their outcomes. And then it automatically generates a streamlined workflow that optimizes for that desired outcome. With Design Pro, it's like having a virtual project manager on the team. We end up making the designer look organized, and the businesses get outcomes they want at a well-utilized budget. My co-founder and I are actually roommates from Stanford, and we have a huge passion for design. I graduated from the Stanford Design School, and Murad graduated in HCI in computer science. And over our career, we've managed to build products with iconic designs such as Siri and Mac OS X. The design industry is a big market. It's growing really fast, and so we decided to start with this segment. When businesses want to do simpler design projects themselves, they can use Canva. But when these businesses need to do more complex design projects involving a freelancer, that's when they need Design Pro. So we're just 4 months old. We've managed to sign up both designers and agencies to our waiting list. The recent testing of our alpha gave us an NPS score of 90, and we're getting amazing feedback. We're raising a pre-seed of 600K at a 5 million cap safe note to build the team, and we've already got some committed investors. And we're super excited, and if this sounds interesting at all, please feel free to reach out. Thank you.
Hi, this is Corey from Monks Ventures. Can you explain a bit about what you mean by desired outcome? How is that defined? And is that a fixed goal? Does it get iteratively changed over time? And how does that work from a product perspective?
Yeah, for example, I was talking to a business owner the other day who wanted to create a website. And if you go on Fiverr and Upwork, well, you can get a website turned around in just a few days. But when I started asking them more directed questions, what I realized is what they wanted to do was to convert leads into signups. And that is what I would say is the outcome. And so when designers typically work on these projects, they just hand over the asset and then they're done. They get paid. But there's no incentive for them to actually design a website that ends up delivering on the actual outcome that the business wants. So that is the gap that we are trying to fill and trying to improve.
Can
Hey,
you
Mo,
talk sorry, go ahead, Carissa.
Please go. Okay, got it. Hey, Mo, Carissa from Jungle here. If you could just elaborate on your target market as to, are you targeting graphic designers, web designers, or do you think any designer can use your product? That would be great. Thank you.
Yeah, actually, the reason why we're so excited about the design space is because within design, there's so many different sub-design categories. There's UX design, there's marketing and branding, there's game design. In fact, if you go on the Fiverr design category, there's 30 different subcategories. So we're definitely going to start with the simpler workflows. We call them linear workflows, such as a logo, right? Or a pitch deck, or a very simple website. So we'll start with that. But the idea is, yes, this platform, this product we're building is for all those types of design projects. Yeah.
And which geographies are you targeting in terms of these designers?
So we're getting designers from the US, we're getting designers from Ukraine, Philippines, Pakistan signed up. And so we're trying to think of this as a really like a global workforce that's available to any business and client, around the world. So right now, yeah, we're actually getting both from the US and also from Asia.
Got it. Thank you.
Can you talk a little bit about your business model, please?
Yeah, sounds good. So we study some of the business models of other companies that may be similar in what we're doing, but for a different segment, like developers. So we looked at Atlassian, and Atlassian has essentially a SaaS subscription pricing with freemium model. And so that is what we feel would be the best with this approach, especially because these freelancers and designers are not very happy with the fees model, the percentage model, especially when these designers are more premium and they start charging larger amounts for projects like $5,000, $10,000. The fees model doesn't really work for them. So we're considering going a subscription model at a price at a per seat level.
And what do you see as with the round that you're raising now? What do you see are the key deliverables that you want to achieve over the next 12 months?
Yeah. So with the round that we're raising, we want to launch our first beta. And that beta will be targeted towards what I said earlier in response to Carissa's question, more simpler, linear type of workflows, like the logos, the simple marketing website type of projects. So the beta will support that end to end, all the way from the design brief to payment to the final delivery. So that's the first part, is around the product and what we will achieve with this round. The second part is the actual go-to-market. So we also want to build our go-to-market team and to be able to get our first and initial paying customers for this.
Perfect. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you, Mohammed.
Thank you.
We're going to move on to our next startup. So the next startup is building the next dimension of our personal habitats in the metaverse. So leading this charge and the presentation today is Christopher, founder of Dscape. Over to you, Chris.
All right. Thank you very much, Anne. Hi, everyone. I'm Chris, co-founder of Dscape, and we develop stylish metaverse residences that you can call your own. We're solving a big problem that's emerging as people create and accumulate more things of value in the digital world, or metaverse. What do you do with it all? Our solution? Imagine Pinterest or Instagram, but as virtual spaces you can actually own. Let's take a sneak peek at what that looks like as we prepare for our launch. Dscape's positioning is dream living. We want you to feel that in the metaverse, you can live places you could only dream of in the real world. How? With estates, virtual residences that you can buy and own as non-fungible tokens, or NFTs. Each estate is unique, generated with randomized attributes of varying rarity, then manually curated for design quality. Here's a demo cover video with our close-to-production art, highlighting key aspects of an estate, giving you a strong sense of what you own when you buy it. First, each estate is set in a breathtaking, surreal landscape that fills you with awe and inspiration. Some are modeled on real-world places, others are works of pure imagination. Next, the residence itself is a fantastical architectural structure that gives you a feeling of inhabiting your own private piece of the metaverse. Lastly, the interior is a stylish space designed to make you feel at home, relaxed, comfortable, and at ease, letting you get away from it all whenever you like. Estates are also much more than just pretty pictures. Soon after we release the NFTs, we'll be launching our mobile app, allowing you to interact with and personalize your estates, including walking through them, importing other NFTs, and inviting friends over. Finally, this is us, a veteran all-Xoogler team with relevant past successes. We're already well on our way to launching our Genesis collection and are looking for collaborators, partnerships, and early investment in this exciting opportunity. In the meantime, we're working hard on our launch, and we'll also be donating estates and whitelist spots to the Xoogler community. Thanks very much for your time.
Hi, Chris. I'll go first.
Hi.
Hey. Could you tell us more about how your go-to-market strategy sounds like a very social app? So
That's right. Yeah. So for the go-to-market, we're starting off with the NFT sale. So right now we are currently in the process of finalizing the art for our NFTs. So we're going to do the go-to-market and structure it more like what we're currently seeing in the NFT market right now. We're going to be building up a community in order to get to a whitelist pre-sale for a certain percentage of the overall first collection. So these NFTs, typically they come in collections. We're going to do our Genesis collection. About 50% of it, we're going to release a whitelist for pre-sale before releasing the additional 50% of it for a public sale. Now, in the build-up to that, obviously, there's a lot of work that we need to do in order to generate excitement for the collection as a whole, in order to get people to sign up for the pre-sale and be excited about buying something that they don't necessarily have the actual reveal metadata for. I'm getting a little bit of, I'm hearing some responses that there are connection issues. Let me see if there's something that I can change here on my side. Hi, is this better?
Yes.
From a perspective?
Yep.
Sorry about that. Okay, great, thanks. So go-to-market, I hopefully some of the other stuff came across okay. On the go-to-market side, so go-to-market-wise, it is focused very much on the NFT. So the NFT is going to be broken up into a pre-sale as well as a sale. And then so the collection is going to be done as pre-sale, about 50% for a public sale. Right now, what we have to do is we have to build up to the actual the sale portion itself for the collection. So what we're doing is we're actually dripping out information about our art and for the features that we're going to be releasing when it comes time to actually buy the NFT itself. Things that we're currently in preparation for example, still shots and marketing materials of the NFT itself. There's a lot of space that's being designed that we're going to be releasing that you'll ultimately be able to experience through the app. The white paper is on its way, as well as some of the initial roadmap bits. So the story is being prepared. Now we're getting ready to sort of feed it out into the market. That's going to get us the initial sort of collection out there. And then from there, it'll be sort of taking that similar approach from the NFT side and building that to get people into the app itself to ultimately be connected.
So it's Michael here. Can you talk a little bit about what your kind of longer term vision of where you actually want to take Dscape?
Yeah, absolutely. So from a longer term perspective, we're focusing on metaverse real estate. And so at the beginning, we kind of, you can kind of think about it in layers, but content is sort of at the very top of the iceberg. For us, we feel that the content that we have and that we're creating is a great way to sort of create a wedge in the market currently. But actually, what we're trying to do is to enable a lot of creators of this type of real estate to do it easier themselves and create collections that they would actually ultimately be able to sell. So the next part and the more important part from a long-term and scale perspective is actually the platform. So the platform is going to allow you to allow creators in the community to actually come on, start using the tools that we're building in order to create our own collections, to build theirs, and then share in much larger portions of the economics. We take smaller portions of the economics, but we scale out the total number of people who are involved with it.
Chris, can you talk a bit about the team and where you guys are at right now in terms of the business?
For sure, yeah. So the team, we all actually met, we were on the same team in Google Shanghai, where we're currently based. We were all on the NBU China team that was, looking to launch here in China. We were the ones who actually launched the only and, one might say pretty successful Google product here in China over the past kind of 10 years or so. It was a social app, and we did pretty well. And then so we've come out together. We got all really excited about the metaverse and sort of building for that. And we are currently about 2 to 3 months in. We have the art ready. We have our prototypes of the product getting stood up right now. And then our roadmap is we're going to do the pre-sale and public sale next month in March. And then we're going to do an alpha of our app and platform in about April.
And maybe you've covered this, Chris, before, but I was having some connection issues. But, how do you build community around your product?
Right. So a lot of the community is around people who are sort of interested in this type of the art and the feel of these, NFTs as a whole, but then are also looking for a residence that fits them that they can put it into. So some of the specific things that we're doing, obviously, is we're in some of the communities that care about NFTs and are excited about this, and then showing them parts of the art, because they're all generated, but there's some of them that are going to be fit for that community, showing it to them, getting them excited about it, and having them come on. We're also going to be seeding with a few KOLs, so people who actually are, they already sort of represent a lifestyle, an aspirational lifestyle that is in keeping with a few of the NFTs that are going to show up in this collection, and we're going to be seeding some of that. We're estimating about 10% of our Genesis collection is going to go towards seeding people whose style really fits with the content that we're building.
All right. Thank you. That will be all for now. If you want to hear more, you know how to do. You just go directly on the system and ask this question, ask to be connected. Thank you very much, Chris. Was awesome. Next up, we have the startup CureBay, who is on the mission to bring healthcare to rural India. Please welcome ex-Googler Priyadarshi. Over to you. The stage is yours.
Thank you, Anne. And hello, everyone. Super excited to be here to represent the CureBay team. Healthcare infrastructure in India is skewed towards addressing the health challenges of urban India. Rural India remains largely underserved. With close to 1 billion people in rural India living with lack of access to proper healthcare infrastructure and providers, there's a massive gap that exists in the market. At CureBay, we are trying to solve for this real problem by building an innovative healthcare model. Our approach is hybrid. We have first built a deep tech, intelligent tech platform, which is based on Cure Continuum. And we have aggregated the physical healthcare ecosystem players, such as doctors, pharmacies, labs, and hospitals onto this platform. We allow them to collaborate real time to deliver the services to people in remote locations. This tech platform powers a network of microsatellite centers that we call as e-clinics. These are physical touch points that provide assisted healthcare model. And we are very confident that we will be successful as this project is backed by a team that has the credibility, track record, and experience in successfully executing. We have also been backed by some of the best corporate names, and we have raised a round of 1.5 million. The early traction has been very, very encouraging. We have had over 500 patients in rural India comfortably receiving healthcare on digital platform and almost a 45% repeat. We are now ready to grow and scale. And we are looking at the right financial partnership that will help us revolutionize primary healthcare at the grassroots level. Thank you.
Hi, Priyadarshi, this is Corey. Can you define repeat rate? Because I really like to see the repeat rate to be much lower if you're curing them. Is it because they come back twice a year? Or how does it work?
So the first time they come is typically for just a doctor consultation. And the repeat that happens is when they come back to consume more services like buying medicines, getting laboratory tests done. Does that answer your question?
And the follow-up on that is, what is your relationship with the doctors? Are these your doctors, or are you just a layer in front of all of your partners?
So 2 sets of doctors we have on the platform. One we call as empaneled doctors. These are doctors who are on a retainer model with us, and we sort of price the OPD. There is a second set of doctors who are mostly specialists who work on an inventory model with us. So they give their additional inventory available to them, which they price, and we put it on the platform.
Priyadarshi, this is a very, very Anshu here from Sequoia.
Hi, Anshu.
Hi. This is a very, very hard problem logistically. What do you think are the top 3 challenges you'll face in the next, let's say, 1 year with the money you raise?
Yeah, I think the first challenge is to really build the physical network of microsatellite centers, identifying the right locations and identifying the right partnerships for that. And that's where we're going to invest a lot. The second one will be really to scale and grow. I mean, the opportunity is massive, and we need the team and the right kind of talent to really scale up. And the third one will be for customer acquisition. These are rural customers. Not all of them look at digital media. So we are looking at very innovative methods, including a referral network to acquire customers. So those are the three key areas that we'll be investing going forward.
Okay.
Can you talk a little bit? Oh, sorry, Chris, you go ahead.
Sorry again. No. Michael, please go ahead.
No, can you just talk a little bit? Because obviously one of the things I was thinking about was that the last point that you raised is that your customers are not going to be, I would say, trusting of something that's digital, because obviously there's an education that's got to happen to your customers, and up to a point, probably some of the doctors as well. How are you actually going to manage that in some way your margins are very thin anyway? Because educating a market is always very complicated. And you talk about you've got some interesting ideas of how to solve that. Can you just talk a little bit about one or two of them?
Thank you, Michael. Very interesting question. As you know, everybody says that in India, the mobile smartphone penetration is the biggest, like 900 million. However, we know for a fact that rural India uses it for consumption of entertainment, not for healthcare or education. That's the reason we have set up the physical centers, which are assisted healthcare model. We have trained healthcare certified workers in these centers who actually use the technology platform when patients walk in. For the patient, it is just like a physical interaction they're having, and our people then assist them through the digital platform to have a consultation with the doctor. On the doctor side, you're absolutely right. Doctors have been probably late adapters of technology, but our platform is so intuitive to use and so easy, and now everybody has become familiar, specifically post-pandemic. I've seen a massive change in how people have adapted to digital. So that sort of helped us as a tailwind.
Okay, thank you.
Carissa,
I think Carissa wanted to ask a question.
Yeah. You're mute now. Yeah, now you're good to go. Carissa?
Yeah, got it. Okay. No, I think one thing that I would love to double click on is partnerships. Are you partnering up with any insurers, any pharmacists, so the end-to-end, I guess, journey becomes seamless?
Absolutely, Carissa. This whole model is based on an ecosystem orchestration. So currently, we have partnered with the top 20 hospitals in our pilot market, with about 50 plus pharmacies, with 4 of the largest diagnostic centers, and over 100 doctors. So yes, as we keep expanding, the cornerstone of this model is going to be ecosystem orchestration.
Okay, thank you.
Fabulous. Thank you very much. What a beautiful mission. All right. Next up, so the next business is called YouRental, and YouRental builds the network that connects communities within the real estate rental industry. And Ming is here to tell us more about it. Welcome on stage, Ming.
Hi, everyone. My name is Ming. I'm the CEO and the founder of YouRental. So I started investing in rental properties about 8 years ago, and now I'm managing over 11 rental properties. And the biggest challenge throughout the rental process is always about finding tenants and the service providers and building trust with them. YouRental is solving the problem by integrating the home rental platform with the social network and the communities. It's like LinkedIn for rentals. And we have a lot of successful cases where tenants and the landlords sign lease agreement within a day on YouRental because they have mutual friends, or they went to the same school and so on. I started working on YouRental about 7 months ago. And since then, we acquired over 32,000 users and 41,000 listings in over 10 big cities. And our growth is also amazing. We have, for example, we have over 47% month-over-month listing growth. And we also have a lot of partnerships, including more than 10 apartment buildings. YouRental has a pretty straightforward business model. We're going to make around $10 per unit per month from the property management tools, and we can charge around $5 to $10 per click for ads and promotion fees. Right now, we have over 63,000 users in US and China, and we're going to continue to focus on acquiring high-quality listings in big cities first, and then expand to small and medium cities. As for renters, we're going to focus on universities and big corporations first. The reason we can make so many progress is because we have a great team. Cole and I both work for tech companies like Google, Amazon, and Facebook, and we are both real estate investors. Jack is our marketing and sales expert, and he also worked for a real estate company for more than 5 years. And thank you so much for watching. I'm happy to answer any question you may have.
Okay. Hi, I'm Anshu Surana. I'll go first. Could you tell me how many? I noticed that you have 44% increase in month-on-month rent listings. How many delisting do you see? In the sense, how many people actually find homes through your app or website? If you could walk us through those.
Yeah, on average, we have around 5% to 10% conversion rate. Like landlord is able to list and find the tenants on eRental, which is pretty high compared to other platforms like Zillow and Apartments.com.
In what kind of time frame? 5 to 10% conversion?
On average, on eRental, our listing rent leasing period is around 15 days. And the average national or US national leasing time is around 21 days. So we are saving like people around 30 or 40% of the time finding tenants.
Okay.
Are you targeting?
Sorry, Chris, you go. We're doing it at the same time.
No.
Go.
Yeah. No, my question is this a long-term or short-term rentals? Are these listings exclusive to you? That's number two. If you think about the profile of, I guess, the owners of the properties, do you work with B2B clients? You know, it could be a private equity firm who owns, you know, one large building, or could it be individuals like yourself who owns, you know, less than 10 properties?
We actually work with both. And we have like I mentioned, we partner with more than 10 apartment buildings right now, and they are not, you know, small business. And we also work for like property management firms. Some of them have more than like 500 properties managing in their portfolio, and also open for like individual users, like individual landlords with like just one properties. Yeah.
Do you intend on managing the properties in the future?
Actually, we're managing a few right now, specifically for short-term rental, around like 11 properties right now.
Understand. Okay, got it. Thank you.
For the customers that you've got on board so far, who are you replacing? So, and what is the cycle to get a new property on? Are they using somebody else, or are you just seen as an additional tool for them to use? So around, you know, or are you looking for exclusivity as much as possible?
Yeah, actually, we're trying to, you know, competing with like other big platforms like Zillow and Apartments.com. Actually, we are trying to compare them using the social network feature, and more specifically, like we want to be unique where it comes to like the community side of the feature, like building communities for the apartment buildings and the building communities for the you know, neighborhoods for the rental purpose. And those features are like no one else is doing right now.
Yeah, I have a follow-up question on that, Ming. In terms of your social and community features.
Sorry, we're out of time already. But it's cool because we have a fantastic tool that allows you to ask the question directly. So feel free to do so. Thank you very much, for your answers and your presentation. All right, our next startup is Appify Technologies, and they help e-commerce merchants to transform their web stores into mobile apps without coding, which is cool. It's over to you. Welcome on stage, and we're all ears.
Thank you, Anne. So hello everyone from Tokyo. My name is Tatsuo. I used to work for Google Japan, and now I'm one of the founders and head of the global expansion at Appify Technologies. We provide solutions for e-commerce merchants. More and more D2C merchants opens web stores using Shopify these days. However, when they want to provide mobile apps to generate repeated purchases, they need to spend huge cost and time, not once, but forever. Appify is an official Shopify app, which you can instantly implement through Shopify Marketplace. And you can not only develop mobile apps, but also implement a lot of more cool features, such as loyalty programs or point system, which is super popular in the APAC region, as you know, or lottery systems, and more features under development without writing a line of code. Backed with around $2 million investment from VCs and angel investors who are mostly CEO and CTO of very known scale-up companies, we publicly launched the service in January 2021. Since then, we piled up the user base organically without the salesperson, led by the product. More than 30 apps made with Appify have been downloaded more than 1 million times, generating $5 million in quarterly GMV and 13K MRR in February this year. Most incredible KPI is the churn rate, which is 0% since its launch. 90% of our members are engineers, and we're investing mostly in product development and the design at this point. We're doing the Series A this year, and the main objective is to accelerate the customer acquisition in Japan and also expand to the global, starting from the APAC region. Moving to the video, here you can find the product demo. If you can switch to the video. Once you connect the Shopify account with Appify, the app itself is almost ready in the professional design, and you can add more features or modify the design as you like, all without on browser, no coding. And that's all from me, and thank you. Throw me if you have any questions. Thank you for listening.
Tatsuo, hi, good to meet you. How do you stand out in the how do you differentiate in the Shopify apps marketplace? What is the main thing that you think has drawn users to your platform?
Yep, that's a very great question. There are around 10 Shopify apps that support the mobile app development, and out of these, only 3 of them are in the professional level in terms of the quality. And the main differentiator is the add-on features that you can implement using different apps. And since we are the only ones who is coming from the APAC region, we are adding features that are have the most need from the APAC region. For example, the point system, which is super popular and powerful for the merchants in APAC.
And Tatsuo, if you can talk about the customer profile, what sort of, I guess, Shopify merchants would use you? What do they sell typically, and why would they want to convert their web store to an app?
Yep. Technically speaking, any type of the merchants can use our product, but we're mainly focusing on the fashion brands so far, because you can utilize the same design of the apps to the multiple brands with a little bit of little changes in the customization, and the repeat user ratio is usually higher in this category than others.
Got it. Thank you.
Can you talk a little bit more about your product development? Where do you want to actually take the product going forward? Where do you see the opportunity?
Yeah, that's a good question. So our business model is taking a few percentage of the GMV, the gross merchant value, and the percentage really depends on what features each merchant use. So for example, if they use a minimum feature, we only take 1%. And if you want to use, for example, the point system feature, we take additional 1% and go on and on. So we basically hear the need from the customer, identify what are the most needed feature in the market, develop them, provide them, and differentiate than others by providing the holistic solution. Does that answer your question?
Kind of. So how many, I guess leading on from that then is, how many features do most of your customers have? So what's your average take of their GMV? If that's the way you work, because like 1% for every main feature. So what's the average that you're taking from your customers at the moment?
Yep. Right now we're taking in average 2% of the GMV, and we're targeting 5 to 7% in the future in 2 years. And some features that we are providing in addition to the regular commerce and the point system are, for example, the return system, that if the customer doesn't, the end user didn't like the product, you can return it, and the customer can control the backend system using the app. Or the payment solution is provided through our solution as well, in partnership with third-party developer, not ourselves. So not only we develop the features, but also we open up the platform using the API so that a third-party solution provider can add on their features to the application layer using the Shopify platform. So we're kind of a solution provider and also the platform over Shopify platform.
Okay.
All right. Any last question? Short last question?
So how do you go about acquiring customers? In sense, what kind of product marketing strategy have you been using?
Yep. Luckily enough, there are a bunch of companies who are providing list of the top Shopify shops publicly. And so we have the list already. So basically, we're trying to identify the best go-to-market strategy for each different market. But for example, in Japan, since the e-commerce and fashion industry is quite small, it's not very easy to get connected to the merchants by the word of mouth or introduction from multiple stakeholders.
Okay.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Tatsuo. It's lovely having you. All right. Our next and last startup to present is on a mission to make inner healing and deep human connection accessible to anyone. Welcome on the stage, Edric and his co-founders, Shane, Oliver, and Vlad. Over to you guys.
Hi, everyone. We're Warm Space. We all know that depression and loneliness are on the rise, while access to help is costly. Coaches and therapists have limited time. So we have built a platform that allows anyone to experience deep, healing, guided conversations through the power of automated guidance and peer counseling. We make it feel as if a facilitator is there with you, guiding you to open up to a complete stranger without the facilitator having to be there. Let us show you how.
Hey everyone, so welcome to your first Warm Space session. Today we have two total strangers. Actually, they're my co-founders, Shane and Oliver, who got matched together. And as you see across the top, we tend to start with a kind of a grounding meditation. Helps people relax, get a little more at ease, and feel safe enough to share more deeply as the conversation goes on. And what you see is there across the top, we have text guidance, we have audio snippets that are playing, that are gradually guiding people, and we also have these interactive elements of different kinds to make it a little more fun and engaging. But what really happens is we gradually have people take turns sharing more and more deeply with each other until it gets to such a deep place where they're really processing old emotions, old experiences, experiencing this kind of therapeutic healing that they can only really experience with a skilled therapist or coach. And actually, these experiences that you're seeing are designed by skilled therapists and coaches. And in fact, Warm Space is a way for the best such facilitators to scale their offering, make it more affordable, and make it more available to millions and even billions of people around the world. So now we're open for your questions.
Hi guys, very interesting. Can you sort of give me a sense of how you measure success? Is that largely from user response, or how do you kind of get a sense of how successful you are?
Yeah, that's a good question. We've been very careful in how we measure success because we don't want to be like really obsessed with growth metrics. We want to make sure that we're actually making a real difference in people's like well-being. So before the workspace session, we ask how they're feeling, and we ask how they're feeling after, and then we measure the uplift of their well-being, a measure of the positive uplift in their mood. We also looked at how long do they engage in the session. Some of our users engage with their partner up to like 5 hours, which shows that they're actually deeply connecting with their partner.
Yeah, and we get tons of like video, audio, and written feedback from our users, and we read every single one of them. And we really make sure that we're applying human judgment to what's really going on. And it's been phenomenal in terms of what the impact we've been seeing.
So kind of following on from that, what percentage are repeat users, and how often, like what's your average expectation of somebody who's, because this is not, you just do it once. This is something that you've got to do over a longer period of time. So how do you kind of categorize like a repeat user, and what do you see as an active user where, you know, they use it like 5 times over, like is it like you expect them to use it on a weekly, monthly basis going forward?
So this is a good question, and just to be clear, we've been in a private alpha for all last year, really like fine-tuning technology and the experiences. What we're about to launch is structured programs where people will actually, you know, subscribe to something like a coaching program where they'll return week after week to engage in along some theme, you know, could be, you know, developing more authenticity, managing anxiety, certain types of shared traumas. Yeah, so that would be the real question, but that's basically our revenue model and also our growth model, because we're partnering with basically like extremely prominent coaches and therapists who have large followings. So they'll be putting their material and their process on our platform and then bringing in their followers as well.
And if you think about your target even customer. Oh, sorry, please, Edric.
I'll just add on really quickly. Currently, even before launching these programs, we're seeing about 30% month-on-month return from our active users. And the plan is to really develop a lot of these different categories of experiences with these renowned coaches to have a wide range of categories that allow people to explore different ways of discovering themselves and relating with each other, which will also definitely help with driving retention.
No, my question was around if you think about your... Yeah, no, I think there's some delay on my end. So if you think about your target customers, why would they be attracted to come into your platform? Is it because, oh, they need someone to talk to? Or do they want to talk to friends? How does the matching system work? If you could elaborate on that, that would be amazing.
Sure. So we don't have a matching system currently, and it's done on purpose. We don't want people to match on a surface level type of like similar interest type of connection. We want people to realize that there's more underneath what we all share in common as humans. Like we share common struggle and pain and insecurity. So the target customers are really anyone who want to experience this deeper level of connection with us. It could be a friends. We have users who have tried this with their partners, with their close friends, with their parents. But majority of users use this to connect with strangers because it's so much easier to open up and to share something more personal with strangers who won't judge you. So often these are people who are seeking a deeper depth in connection and being able to share something that's a little bit more personal. And this is a healing therapeutic experience because they're sharing something that's typically shameful or like they're not comfortable to share with anyone else in their lives.
Yeah, and just to expand a little bit on the target audience, there's a lot. Coaches are expensive. Retreats where you really go deep on your inner stuff are crazy expensive. So most people can't afford it. So I think there's a huge amount of people who would love to have those kinds of experiences and services that we're really making accessible to them for the first time. So I think it's actually a very, very large population globally.
Okay, thank you.
Cool. Thank you very much, Whole Space team, to allow us to unwind slowly as we wrap up everything. Thank you. All right, so that's a wrap. I would like to thank all the startups presenting. Good job. That was really cool. We can see the numbers adding up already. So I'm pretty sure you're going to be busy in the next coming hours and days. Cool, that's what you wanted. Thanks a lot also to our panelists. You did just perfectly, so I'm really glad. I'm sure that all the investors that are looking now, we're glad that you could ask their questions. So this is the end of the presentations, but you can still access the platform, whenever you want. And go there, review the information on the startups. You can still see the startup profiles, and you can still take action and connect and invest. So this is here for you. Thank you to my amazing team, without whom I wouldn't have been able to pull this together. That's really a team effort. Thank you again a lot to all of you. You know who you are.